Alright, we're playing around with the live stream, just kind of assling around this
We
afternoon.
have 6 Tigger Melons.
Yeah, so
We're gonna show you how
we
what's
thought
the
we'd go ahead and do
inside.
a little review of the Tigger Melon from
Smell
Baker
this
Creek.
camera. Smell it.
Yeah, it's too bad that there isn't like a smell feature on here or whatnot, because it does smell pretty good. I
Oh,
think we
Daddy,
actually have
smell
one
this
that's
one.
really ripe. And so what I
Yeah.
want to do is go ahead and cut one open. We're going to save the seeds from it. And then go ahead and eat some Tigger melon. Mmm, smells good. The last couple we've had, I don't think maybe they were completely ripe because it just didn't have much flavor at all. Whereas these, very fragrant, smelling it. So I'm hopeful that I'll actually get a true taste of what these are supposed to taste like, because the catalog, has a pretty good review about them.
Daddy, what's this from?
It's poison ivy, or a little
Oh,
bit
that's
of
bad.
maybe a mosquito bite or something.
I think that's from poison ivy.
Oh shoot, tired. Anyway, we'll go ahead and bust one of these open, and then take a look. Why don't you get me a cutting board and a little knife? Can you do that without
Daddy, I
dropping it?
can't get the knife.
You can't
Okay.
get the knife. Can you have go ahead and get a cutting board. Maybe ask Ruthie to get you the knife. Did they lock us out? Hope not. We tried to grow several different varieties this year. So we got the Tigger, which this did pretty well. We got another one. It's called Kazakh. That one didn't do so well. I think the bugs got to it before I could really get some decent fruit from it. So I may try it again next year. Um, I don't know. Maybe we'll plant in a different location. Be kind of fun to grow some cantaloupe, something like that. A smaller size melon would do well here since we're in a little bit of a northern climate, being in Ohio. The cherry tomatoes certainly are doing pretty well. They do well about everywhere, but it's kind of nice growing those because they will form up pretty quick, and we can have tomatoes as early as end of June, beginning of July. So they're gonna hopefully bring me a cutting board here. We can cut this open and yeah, here we go. Can you bring me a cutting board too? All right, child. So we'll go ahead and cut this open.
Horsey, let's see. Oh, let me smell what it is.
Looks pretty good on the inside. Tons of seeds. Similar to a
Daddy,
cantaloupe. We'll
let's
scoop
cut
that out.
another one open.
Why don't you get me a little spoon and two little bowls, 2 spoons and 2 bowls, and we'll each enjoy a Tigger melon, like half of it, okay?
Okay. Oh, in a jar for... What about that
Just
chocolate seeds?
give me 2 bowls and 2 spoons.
Okay.
It's a lot like a cantaloupe or a honeydew. Kind of similar smell. One thing that I am kind of eager to harvest is our watermelon this year from Baker Creek. It's a variety called Ancient. I've got at least one fairly decent sized watermelon.
The reason why I got this seed
All right,
thing
Brent.
is for all the seeds.
Yeah, these seeds are bad, honey. Let's go ahead. I'll get this going. We'll go ahead and scoop the seeds out.
Can I scoop some?
Yeah, I'll let you scoop yours.
That's why you got 2 spoons, right?
Well, hey, little bean. Thanks for dropping by. So it's pretty hot out in California, huh? That's good. So can I get that out? Ah,
There.
there it is. You want to eat
So-
that?
Yes.
All right. And take this spoon. You just put it in your bowl. You can eat it right there. I think I saw your comment. I'm on a phone here, so it's hard to. Let's see here. Ah, there we go. Weather is pretty good here. It is actually in the probably high 70s now, 78, maybe even 80. But I'd started a little live stream before this. We went camping this weekend over at my dad's house, and it got down probably 50s. We're in Ohio.
It's probably the flavorist
Yeah.
Tigger Melon.
You like it?
I like Tigger
So the
Melon.
weather was in the 50s, which was not bad at all.
Tigger Melon's delicious.
That was yesterday or early this morning. I've been up since about 3:30 this morning. I was in a tent with my son. He didn't sleep too well. He's kind of tossing, so I ended up letting him have a little air mattress I was on, and then just got up, kind of hung out around the campfire. Some Tigger melon seeds here. Yeah, Dad's house is where the big garden is. He's been gracious enough to let me kind of play out there. I think he actually enjoys it. He's retired, so he kind of spends. He probably spends more time in the garden than I do, actually, since it's at his house. We're gonna try this out.
Daddy, can you just keep the end off?
That is really good.
Can you take this whole bottom off?
I think I finally got one
That's delicious.
that represents what it should really taste like. And maybe it's because it'd been really dry and we haven't been watering. It sweetened it up a little bit.
No, but too much sun.
A little bit.
Which they need a lot of sun to grow. And they grow pretty fast, right, Daddy?
Yeah.
Daddy, can
Let's
you
see
just
here.
take all of this ends off so that I can just all over it?
She wants me to scoop. Why don't we have Ruthie do that?
No, you.
You want me to do that?
Yes. I want you to watch what you do. Here's the knife.
Yeah, she, my youngest daughter here, she just turned 6. And one thing she has benefited from is having all of her older sisters and her brother to talk to and learn from and stuff. Her vocabulary and
It's
just
huge.
is a lot larger than the other kids relative to her age, just because she's
Hey, Daddy.
had to talk a
There's
lot more,
a little bit.
or heard a lot more conversation. Let's put it that way.
Mhm.
Here, can you eat it like that?
Yeah.
Cut little slices.
Those are smiley faces.
Yep.
See, there's goes my talking.
Yeah, I need to drop by your channel. It's been a while. I do good. You know, confession of a YouTuber. I do good to get some videos posted, and every once in a while, uh, jump on and check stuff out. I actually probably need to go through the subscriptions and stuff and kind of weed out some of the ones that I don't. You know, maybe it was kind of a one-off and whatnot, but I generally try to keep up a little bit with the ones that do, you know, are kind of checking out my stuff, whatnot. How long you been YouTubing? Hey. What's up, Neil? We're eating a Tigger Melon. I finally got one. Yeah, things are busy. How many kids you got?
How many does he have? He didn't say yet.
This is really good, honey. Yeah.
One of the parts doesn't really taste good, but that's okay.
Yep. We got a couple more.
See, there goes my.
3 years. It's a lot of fun. I think this is my 7th year on it. Oh well, yeah. What are their ages?
What? How many
Ah.
kids do they have?
How much more you got left on yours?
Mom.
This is like perfect personal size melon to share with someone. So
Yeah.
my 6-year-old daughter is eating the other half. I'm kind of plowing through this one. It's actually
I
pretty
think
good.
This is delicious.
Again, we weren't going to grow them this year because I'd never really had a good Tigger melon. You know, I don't know. We weren't harvesting them at the right time. I mean, they'd look right, but I think the trick is to not water them. Interesting. A fruit salad plant. I'm going to have to check that out. I was sharing earlier we grew another one called cassock. It didn't do that well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a drought out there in California. That's
We
kind of
have
crazy.
5 kids.
They probably have ordinances where you can't like water your lawn and all that, right? That's
Dad.
interesting. You're done with that.
I just started getting done.
Well, maybe we'll cut up some for the other kids
How many kids do you have?
later on.
They have.
She has 2 teenagers.
Oh, they have 2. What are their names?
That's crazy.
What's crazy?
Yeah, we've been blessed with all kinds of. It's rained pretty consistently here. Got laid the last, really this summer. I mean, we kind of had a dry spell for about
Wait,
2.5 weeks where we really needed some rain, and then it rained a bunch this last week. And what's that? You pulling up a rock? So
do you have a rock shaped like this?
it rained a lot this last week, so everything's greened up again.
I think that's how rocks grow. Do rocks grow?
No, rocks don't grow; they're formed. Some minerals.
What did he say?
She said that's a pretty rock. Yeah, one of the things with the garden, we were kind of fortunate during the dry spell too that we pulled the potatoes and onions during that time, so it's kind of perfect for that. And then we only had our really our tomatoes and peppers that we needed to keep up on in terms of watering to make sure that they didn't get like blossom end rot, stuff like that. Sometimes that can happen when inconsistent watering,
You have a dinosaur?
where they don't form right. Yeah, she's hilarious. You play with your pony down there. So anyway, Dad was kind of relieved too because I made a couple other videos about it, but his well is limited. He's on a well. He's not on like city water. And the first year that we had the garden out there, I mean, he was watering like crazy, and it dredged up a lot of sediment into his well.
Daddy,
And
Tom.
I guess nowadays they've got, hey, there's the dog.
Daddy, tell them what kind of dog do they have.
We got a miniature dog since she just walked out.
What kind of dog do you have?
She wants to know what kind of dog you guys have, if you guys own animals.
What are they doing?
There's a little lag. It's not like real time. There's a little lag between when we talk and they hear it and they respond.
They're like streaming, right?
A lab, 2 beagle mixes. And Neil doesn't have any dogs at the moment.
Aw, dog.
Yeah, kind of switching gears on the dog. We had a shepherd mix. He was kind of like our baby before we had kids. And then what we noticed is as we had kids and he was getting older, he got meaner. And I don't know. Anyway, make a long story short, he ended up, we couldn't trust him anymore. And at one point, neighborhood kids, when they get off the bus stop, they'd walk through the alley. This is our old house in Indiana. Walk through the alley and they'd throw rocks at him if he was out in the yard and stuff. And he didn't take kindly to that. And so he just kind of got meaner. I don't know. Anyway. Oh, that's cool. Make a long story short on the dog, though, we ended up, animal control ended up coming and getting him because one of the kids or something opened our gate. He got out and he was milling around, and then another dog came in who was a stray or something, started fighting with him and whatnot. And then the neighbor called to, knowing that the one dog was ours, trying to get the dog back in. Animal control showed up. And then basically saw our dog, tried to coax it back in the yard, and as he approached, he's wagging his tail, and then he jumped on the animal control officer and knocked him down and almost chomped him on the throat.
What happened?
And this before you were born.
Oh yeah, Coco.
No, this is Elvis.
Oh,
Well, the dog is named Elvis. Anyway, they ended up taking him to the pound. I went down after work to go get him, and basically gone crazy. And the animal control officer said, I don't want to tell you what to do, but this dog's a liability. It's just a matter of time before he really hurts somebody. No, don't do that. Don't do that. So we ended up having to put him down. There he was, older dog, kind of crazy. Well, at the same time, we got in this miniature dachshund. My parents had brought up. They were traveling through southern Indiana, and there was a sign where they had the puppies and stuff. So we got this miniature dachshund. We've had her for I think 11 years. She's pretty much an indoor dog. She does spend some time outside on the deck.
She mostly spends herself outside, laying on her belly.
Yeah, she's pretty
doing
spoiled.
Weird stuff. So that's pretty weird, right?
She's kind of spoiled. She gets, we call it vittles, leftovers. She knows when it's dinner time and stuff like that.
I make her
She kind of
pasta,
hovers. Now we want to save those seeds, honey.
but they're gonna get rotten anyway.
Yeah. So what we're gonna do with these seeds, we're gonna we'll clean those and then put them in a
jar.
a
Like
jar or
this.
something. Yeah.
Hey, Daddy. Oh, what is this?
These we kind of forgot about. So, oops. Yeah. I think, one thing with the dog, like, by spending a bunch of time with her, like the dog spent more time outside at our old house because we had a decent sized yard that was fenced in all the way. Whereas here, we got a decent sized yard, this place, that we're renting, but it's not all fenced in, so we've got a smaller area just for her to go to the bathroom and stuff. That's down off the deck. We've got kind of fenced in.
We got some nice dirt here.
Yeah, I brought back some dirt from the garden. My daughter's got a tomato plant she wants to pot up.
Daddy, this is how many roots it has. It has this much roots.
That's cool about the sweet potato tower. We tried growing sweet potato slips last year, and what ended up happening was the birds, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, her name's Sayla. She's pretty excited about gardening. You like gardening, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I like dirt. It's nice to play. Nice rock.
Dirt is pretty nice to play with. I like playing with dirt too.
I like playing with mud.
You go check on the dog?
Penny! Oh, and don't forget to mention that our dog's named Penny. So.
We don't grow them every year. Actually, I think the first 2 years we were here, we didn't grow them. Actually, the first 3 years. Yeah, the first 3 years, I don't think we grew them. 2 years? I had seed saved from fall of 2014, I believe. And I didn't know if it was going to be viable. And so we ended up just kind of playing around with it. Put a bunch of seed in. We had a plant sprout, and then we ended up planting Tigger Melon this year, just because I found the seed packet and decided, well, we'll go ahead and try this since the kids were asking for it. Well, nobody's on right now, honey. They kind of hopped out. Yeah.
What if he needs to eat dirt?
We try to save them every year.
Is there any grass?
Saves us money big time
No. And like,
on that. I like ordering from the. Yeah, you should. One thing that's nice about the smaller melons, and same with like cherry tomatoes, is that they don't take as long
see, it makes my
to grow as like a full-size watermelon or cantaloupe or something like that. Like we planted these, I think, into May, and we were harvesting them by mid-July. So 2.5 months or so, we had a Tigger Melon. And again, I think why they're sweeter is that after they've ripened up like this, backed off, we had the 2 weeks or so that we didn't have any rain, and we picked some of these, and so I think they sweetened up.
Nice tail, at least.
Still really fragrant.
Take pictures of them. No.
Yeah.
Don't get myself dirty.
Yeah, it's funny, the green beans, kind of the inside joke on that too, is that normally my brother, and I think I mentioned this in the video, but normally he visits around the 4th of July every year. Like since we've been living over in Ohio, he's done that. But this year he had a trip, a chance to go to Ireland, and so with the way the vacation plans worked out, he ended up coming.
Daddy, is this a rock?
No, that's dirt.
Okay.
Came up Memorial Day weekend, and so he missed the whole green bean harvest deal. But yeah, we ended up getting, I think it was 55 quarts, and then since then we've pulled probably another 1.5 bushels out of that patch, and blanched a bunch. We got a bunch that are frozen, and then we kept back about probably a 1/4 bushel for fresh eating and stuff like that, roasting, stir fries, stuff like that. And then we had some that went bad. We just didn't get to them, so I put them in the worm bin. But yeah, it's hilarious. The plants are pretty well done now, so there's some. We'll probably get one more harvest off of them. We'll be pulling them out of the garden this week, more than likely, and then going from there. Yeah, Brussels sprouts. We currently have, I think, 6 plants in the garden. They take a really long time to grow. Like we won't be harvesting them until fall, more than likely. It seems like it takes about 4 months. They're grown like cabbage and broccoli and stuff like that, except it takes a really long time to form the little Brussels sprouts along the stem of the plant. So we planted them back in May. They were probably about that tall. They weren't really big at all, basically seedlings, and now they're probably 2 feet tall a piece, pretty big, and they have the little sprouts that are coming out of the stem between like the leaves and the stem, kind of in the armpits of the plant.
I do like mud.
You can. I think you want the ground loose. I don't know about the shade portion of that. Generally, plants need 8 hours of sunlight. Most varieties do. You know, if you're growing stuff, but maybe partially shaded. I don't know about full shade. I've got a book where when we do stuff, I try to look up a little information on it. I didn't really look up a whole lot on Brussels sprouts other than I knew that they were, or had read that it takes a while.
Daddy?
Yeah, hey, I appreciate you dropping by. I'm going to try to do some more live streams, maybe at least one a week or something like that, just to get to know
Daddy,
people out there watching videos and try to connect with people and all that.
Daddy, I really wanna walk Penny in the yard.
Well, you can walk her on the back deck here.
What's our leash on? Like
If-
out
well,
the gate?
you can. No, not out of the gate. It's got to be in on the back deck.
Daddy,
Okay.
is it okay if I
Why don't you see if you can find some dog treats?
No, Penny has no dog treats.
Yeah. So.
Penny. Oh, what am I growing? You don't have any
So what else you
treats.
growing?
Yeah, what else did you grow? Daddy, should we shut it off?
No, there's still people watching.
Daddy, when is it gonna end? Okay,
Go get some dog treats.
Penny, I told you Penny doesn't
Tons
have
of
treats.
things.
Penny doesn't have treats.
Are you,
Dog treats.
are you doing any kind of vertical gardening, or is it a container gardening?
Back with rock. Let's go. Some rock. Okay, almost in the dirt. Oh, yeah, that's hot. Oh,
There's still
yeah.
some melon eating that, baby.
Oh, yeah.
We tried container gardening the first year we were over here because my
That's a pillow.
father-in-law, like, we're renting basically my in-laws' house, their old house. They're not ready to sell it yet, and anyway, he had a drip irrigation system installed on this back deck. Actually, it's still in place. I haven't really used it much since that first year, but we tried growing tomatoes and things like that. And maybe had I gone with like a determinate varieties, you know, that don't get really tall and all that, it would have done okay. But most of the stuff didn't do that well. It wasn't very good. A very good kind of like gardening year. But then there's other people that like do really well at it. They, I don't know. There's a guy. What's his name? Larry over in Branson, Minnesota, or something, or Branton, Minnesota. Anyway, he does grow bags and what's the name of his system? It's like a he's done stuff with kiddie pools where the idea is that it's self-watering rain gutter grow system. I think that's what it is. Yeah. If you Google that, rain gutter grow system, there's people that have all kinds of cool stuff set up. And basically it's kind of like a hydroponic setup, and they're adding minerals to the water, and some of them have converted like old drums. Wow, honey. They've converted old food drums to grow food in. It's all on like a rain gutter, and then they've got like a float or something, some kind of system, so they know everything's on automatic timers and automatic watering, so that if the water goes below a certain level in the rain gutter, it trips it to come back on to fill it up. And so there's some people doing some pretty amazing things. Well, bring it back to life, honey.
Okay,
There you go.
He's sleeping.
So anyway,
He's
cool
in
stuff.
sleep.
I don't know if I lost you, Neil, or not. I see that the viewer count is at 0 right now. So maybe the internet signal went down or something.
What's making me? Oh,
Or maybe it's just lagging.
Daddy.
What is it?
His tail's stuck. This is wrong. And I want him to have a huge rock to smash the rock. This one.
Well, we'll give it a couple more minutes here. If maybe if nobody comes back online, we'll go ahead and shut it down.
And then we can get the kitty pool and I can
Yeah, maybe I'll get that out for you.
Yay! And then we'll add soap to it. And we'll be in
We'll
nice
see.
bath. So I won't have to take a shower. And I'll have a nice time. Okay. And then I'll have the hours and hours and hours. And then I'll be good. And then I'll have hours and hours and 10 more hours swimming till dinner time. And then I'm gonna have an awesome time because I'm gonna have that one time when I had it dinner. But except this time I didn't ever feel used to the
All right.
thingy. And then I'll get excited and be amazing.
Well, how about we'll put these in the worm bin?
Oh, yeah.
I think we could do that.
Wait, we gotta check if any worms
Yeah.
are pink.
So I finished it off. Again, Tigger Melon, really good. I think I finally got a Tigger Melon that represents what it should have been all along, and I just hadn't been picking them at the right time or whatever. I think the key is to, as far as them being ripe, is that they're very fragrant when you sniff the top of it. Very fragrant. If it's got that fragrant scent, then you know the thing is ripe and it's going to be good. So that's pretty good. So we'll save that for the worm bin. I'll get that ground up. Maybe we should move the worm bin outside.
Yeah.
You think so? Well, we don't want it in the sun. It's got to be in the shade.
Oh yeah, or also dry out.
It could dry out. Well, it could get too hot. The worms, it's got to be
somewhere cold.
No more than 80 degrees. Otherwise, the environments, they don't like that, and they're not going to do well. I don't know.
What happens when you get new? Remember when you got only powdered sugar? Because there's a box, and then all of you put it in there, and then
I don't remember that.
yeah, when you were gonna get your new worms,
Oh,
those kind of worms.
okay.
Our
You know, maybe we'll make.
giant-
We should probably make a video on the worm bin, huh?
No. No videos. It's too long. You mean a gardening video?
Yeah, possibly a
Streamline.
gardening video on the worm bin. Give people an update on that.
No, not streamline, okay? No streamline. No streamline. Okay, Daddy?
Well, Neil, are you back, man? I think it looks like somebody's on. I don't know if it's Neil or not, though, Sayla.
I think it might be Camden.
No.
Who's it? Neil? Camden? Who is it?
I don't know. Maybe they're watching it getting caught up.
It's probably Camden if you're watching.
Sayla, stop.
I need the spoon.
All right. Well, we're gonna maybe I'll hop back on here later tonight. You know, because we pretty
Yes.
well caught up with stuff and just kind of hanging out. Do need to get some things prepped for dinner, and we need to get some things cleaned up.
Yes, I got these fresh again.
Yeah. We'll
What's
we'll find a
fresh?
container for the seeds.
Daddy, I got these fresh again. Yay. They're not all like hard and stuff.
All right, so we'll check back in maybe after a while. We're gonna jump off here and
When
get
I'm
caught up on some
swimming in the
things.
swimming pool
And,
tonight, I'm gonna stay in the swimming
We'll
pool
see.
for
We'll
like
see.
hours.
So
200 hours
anyway,
would be awesome.
I think I will grow these again next year. They did halfway decent. If we can get them to taste like what we just ate, then probably every year I'll include this in the lineup. They're fun.
Daddy, look.
They're colorful. They're pretty easy to grow. Okay. So anyway, we're gonna take off now. I hope you guys have a fantastic afternoon or evening, night, wherever you guys are at watching. And we'll see you next time. Happy gardening. Bye.
Daddy, try to guess with my hand in.